This is Eric Swindle, and this is my reflection for Module 12. Using the information from the provided resources, why is internet safety so important, and what is your role as an educator in teaching internet safety to your students? Internet safety is very, very important, especially nowadays that everything is turning to the internet. Kids are getting tablets and phones and Facebooks and Twitters and all that really, really early and really young. So they might not know the potential hazards of having a social media account and being out there on the internet and stuff. As an educator, I think you can kind of, depending on what you teach, I think if you're like a computer lab teacher, if they still even have those, or like a librarian that could like set topics, like set up a section for like internet safety of books that they have. Um, you can just kind of vaguely go into it, kind of like introduce them into internet safety, and then it'd be hard if you're like a history teacher or a science teacher to kind of get into detail about internet safety in a classroom. What were my thoughts over exploring the NetSmarts website and completing the Teaching Digital Citizen Training Program? That had a lot of useful information. It was very informative. It was very well put together, and it was teaching. Training to make it to where people are safer on the internet. Do I feel like the teaching program is relevant and useful for all educators? I do think it's relevant for all educators to know the basics. Like I said earlier, I think someone who um, is like a computer lab teacher or a librarian or someone that might be able to come in and um, provide internet safety for children would be better than trying to incorporate it into a science class or a math class. I think it is useful that like teachers could hit the basics of it and stuff like that, but I do feel like it needs to go more into depth in maybe elementary or maybe upper elementary or maybe even junior high, where they can get classes that specifically are internet based. Um, Reflect on main points described in the youth safety article. I can't pronounce those names, and describe what useful information. The basically what I took from it is a lot of like cyberbullying information and kind of like solicitation and stuff like that. It was very, very informative with all types of research based information. It had a lot of good points. Pretty much all of it I could take away because all of it, some of it. I didn't know specifically. I've known about cyberbullying. I kind of know the basics, but after reading this, it kind of goes more into depth, and it's just a lot better for, I would say, educators to read this and then go try and teach internet safety than to try to do it, because this does provide a lot of really, really good information that could be passed on to students that could very well help them stay safe on the internet from hacking or any kind of people taking personal information off accounts that they might have, or cyberbullying or anything like that. So I do think it was very, very useful.